Happy Saturday, everyone, and happy Memorial Day weekend for anyone out there celebrating this awesome holiday extravaganza. The market is closed on Monday, so I'm putting out a bonus video for today. If you're new here, welcome, especially if you're coming from my other YouTube channels, primarily NightmareRH and NightmareRH on RS. Welcome to this stock market extravaganza. Woohoo! All right, so if you are a returning daily viewer of mine, you probably know the deal. But for anyone new, like I said, welcome. If you enjoy today's episode and also my content, definitely smash the like button, entirely free. And I tend to put out videos Monday through Friday on this channel. Going to start doing some live streams as well too. Here as word salad as well too. Oh, excuse me on that one. And by the way, we keep things very real on this YouTube channel. I'm a very old-fashioned YouTuber. I believe in real talk because real talk is real people, not fake people. No artificial AI NightmareRH here. Just very real. So, yeah, my mouth tends to mess up a little bit. Monday through Friday tends to put out videos. I'm going to start doing some live streams, fun live streams, market watching, market talking as well too, interacting with a lot of you all. So if you want to follow along, definitely smash the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, or check back here on a daily basis. I may start posting some bonus videos as well too on the weekends for educational content. I've gotten a lot of comments asking me how to set up TradingView, how to set up moving averages, how to really do fundamental analysis. So expect some of that content probably on Saturdays. Not every single Saturday, but, you know, here and there. Definitely want to be dropping a lot of stuff like that. Completely free, you know, doesn't cost anything at all. Not to mention I do have a Discord server too, entirely free to join. And I'm in the process of really spoofing up kind of a stock market section on there. Because I'm primarily a video gamer, YouTuber, so this is definitely a new project. Not to mention this video is going to be relatively a longer one, so grab some water, grab some coffee. If you drink alcohol or whatever, definitely grab a beer. I don't dabble in that anymore. But primarily, I'm going to be going over a challenge that I'm doing on this YouTube channel publicly for motivation and education purposes, doing a $100,000 stock market profile challenge, a risk-on profile. Nothing crazy in the sense of gambling, but very much being in risky or speculative companies such as growth companies that, well, can go up very, very quickly, but they can also come down very, very quickly, which makes them a very risk-on company. So, I've been doing this, or actually, before I dive into the account challenge, let me just go back to this YouTube channel per se. I actually started uploading videos on this YouTube channel back in March 12th of 2024. It was actually under a different YouTube name, hence now the YouTube name is NightmareRH Bull 17. Was a little different back then. It was just kind of really a side project, seeing where it was going. You can check my older videos on this channel if you really want to. I ended up stop uploading videos. My last one was May 17th. 2024, about a little over 2 months from the start date. I had a really bad MRI related to my kidneys back in May of 24. I'm all good now. I was eating way too much sugar and drinking too much alcohol. Very much had a lot of alcohol tendencies back then. Got off the sugar grind, got off the alcohol grind, and just honestly, my health has been going through the utter ceiling. Just had another MRI done actually fairly recently. Everything's very, very kosher for me. So all good in that aspect. Started uploading videos again on this YouTube channel back in November of last year. So roughly about almost 7 months ago. And officially started a account profile challenge back in January of this year. It was supposed to be 18 months, but stuff kind of happened. So This video, I kind of really want to go through my public profile for this YouTube channel, talk about my stocks, talk about what I see in them. As always, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a retail investor, retail trader, and also a stock market loving baboon. So anything that I say is what I'm doing and what I see. You should always do your due diligence. Just because you may see myself or other stock market content creators talking about a stock, it may not be the best thing. You gotta do your due diligence. I've done mine, and I just really want to spread motivation, especially for people that are invested in the same companies as me, that are long-term investors or traders, and also spread educational content as well too, because you got to know your companies when it comes down to fundamental analysis. Fundamental analysis is how much they're just basically their earnings, what they're doing for cash flow, what they're doing for revenue, their growth rate, their compound annual growth rate, CAGR, C-A-G-R, very important. Understanding how to value these companies, what they're going to be doing in the future, and also on the flip side, how to read the charts, the moving averages, because moving averages, technical analysis, TA, it matters tremendously, because when you know how to read the charts, which is pretty much behind me here on this screen, I should say my green screen is obviously backing out my background, but still, it's on the screen. You can get phenomenal buying opportunities. Not to mention, I am a bull. You got to know who you're following and listening to. I believe in the stock market. I believe in America. I'm a American patriot. I'm also a veteran. Happy Memorial Day to any other veterans out there, prior service military, anyone with family members in the military as well too. I am an American bull, but I'm not a perma bull. A perma bull is someone that says just buy the stock, it's going to go up, in the long term. Well, if you know how to read the charts, maybe you can buy that stock at a cheaper level, and yes, it's going to go up, but when you buy it at a cheaper level, you can pick up more shares for the future, and that's primarily what it's all about, is share accumulation. So I'm not a perma bull. I'm also not a bear. The vast majority of my money is actually invested in the market. A lot of bears, especially there are bears that make YouTube videos, a lot of their money are either, it's definitely not in the market. It's either in treasury bonds. They either have a lot of real estate, they have a lot of precious metals, and they're not really putting their money into like the market. But yet they're talking about the market in a very bad way. I talk about the market in a bad way, sometimes actually in a realistical format, because hey, the market right now is very, very shaky, but there is tremendous amount of opportunity. Okay, so anyways, going to my account challenge. This is my public account on Webull is the broker. Pretty much going over this account challenge that started 2 January. I gave myself a bunch of fun little rules for this account challenge. Like I said, it was 18 months, the bung profile. I was going to be depositing $500 per month into this account, and if I did a large deposit, it would bump the account challenge down by 1 month. Well, February, I did a large deposit of $2,500 because the market was falling off a cliff, and I bought a tremendous amount of stock. And I preloaded my $500 per month all the way up to October. I might be buying more stock on Tuesday. I got to really see what happens then. But I mean, realistically, I have preloaded a lot of my money into this account. Now, why did I do that? It's because the market has been terrible for the last, honestly, 5-6 months. And the buying opportunities have been unfriggin' believable. Unbelievable. Right now, the average person wants nothing to do with the stock market. That should be a clear signal that you should be in or accumulating stock. I myself, I got into the stock market during Rona March 2020. All throughout, I'm about to be 38 next month. I got in the market when I was 31. It's never too late to actually get in the market. I wish I was buying stock during my 20s. It would have been unbelievable if I did. But I ended up keeping my money, honestly, in savings accounts all throughout my 20s. I lost money to inflation. That's the honest truth. Got into the market during a life-changing opportunity. Ended up taking a little bit over six figures during Rona. Turned it into multiple six figures of profits throughout 2020 and 21. 22 was a gut check because, to be honest, 2020 and 21, I really didn't know what I was doing. I just literally bought the down Rona stocks like many other people that saw a great opportunity. $10,000 here, $15,000 here, 10,000 here, 5,000 here, etc., etc. I bought all the airline stock. I bought the cruise lines, Norwegian, Carnival Cruise, United, Delta, American Airlines. And when the vaccines were announced and pretty much, hey, you know, Rona is going to be subsiding a little bit, not to mention we had record level of stimulants coming into the market. It didn't matter what you bought back then. It was going up like crazy. Not to mention during that time, I was actually still on active duty with the United States military. I'm done now being in the military, did 15 and a half years in the United States Marine Corps. So during that time, I was just very much looking to accumulate stock and just seeing like an opportunity. It really wasn't until 2022 I actually learned all about this stuff. 2023, I actually ended that year in the red. I ended up having more losses than positives because 2023, I was actually in the wrong sector of the market. I was in the penny stock market. And I was also not sticking to my strategies as well, too. 2024 was amazing for me. That's when I made a tremendous amount of great investments, which I'll go over one momentarily. 2024, nobody really wanted to be in the market, and that was the perfect time to actually get in. I was out at a lot of bars during early 2024. Nobody was buying stock. I was buying stock all throughout the first half of 2024. And then the election happened. Boom! That is the time to start letting go of stock. Because when the election ended up happening, a lot of people started pricing, or the market priced in, saying, hey, Donald Trump's going to be coming back. Okay, the market maybe is going to recover a lot. I don't dabble in politics on this YouTube channel, but you got to go ahead and talk about them here and there, especially with the stuff happening in the Middle East that is affecting our market. I despise talking about politicians just as much as the average person in this country. Don't worry. But you got to be talking about the dinosaur reptilians pretty much, because they very much affect the overall market. But 2025 last year was a tremendous year for me. Liberation Day, I pretty much went all in. I depleted all my cash, but we were in a market crash. It was a 30% downside. And I don't really like using that terminology, going all in. But when there's an opportunity like that, that's when me personally, I'm gonna go ahead and deploy all my capital from my savings, my checkings, and I'm gonna go ahead and be buying stock. And I bought well over $100,000 worth of hard stock last year, hard cash. Don't trade on margin. I honestly don't believe, I believe it's honestly bad JoJo to do margin. So the account you're seeing is straight cash. But I started letting go a lot of my positions around midsummer last year. A little bit too early for some, but made out like a bandit. And this year, I can already tell that I'm going to be making out like a bandit too. So the moral of my personal story is that you got to do your due diligence, and you also got to understand when it's time to buy the fear. The last 6 months has been nothing more than just buying the fear around great companies. Great companies, in my opinion, like SoFi. AMD primarily. I mean, my AMD position right now has utterly taken off. So before I really get too far ahead, I want to go down each stock on this list, talk about what I see, why I'm very bullish. Some of them I'm actually not very bullish. Some of them I may be scaling out a little bit. And I've already scaled out a lot by one of these positions as well too. But the first one I want to pretty much talk about is SoFi Technologies, ticker SOFI. If you've been following me on this channel for a while, you know that I'm a raging SoFi bull, and I've been buying this stock since February of 2024. Like you said, my Webull account is my public profile here. My private account, my Robinhood account, I have a massive position on my Robinhood account. I've been buying SoFi, like you said, February 24, and I'm holding a lot a lot of gains. And ironically, my SoFi gains on my private account was up over 300% back in November of last year, so about 6 months ago. Nightmare, why didn't you sell out? Well, it's because I see SoFi as a very much long-term position that I want to stay mirrored in. And I also love my average is $7.41. I'm holding 1,642 shares on my private account. I actually built a position size of 1,500 shares, and then the stock continued to sell off pretty much up until October of 2024, and I was just buying bonus shares. So the shares I have on this account is very much bonus shares. I do get asked this question a lot. Do I own the same stock on my public and also private account? I do. The only position that I do not have any shares on my private account is actually Meta, and I'll go ahead and talk about that in a few. But otherwise, AMD is also a massive position for me. Adobe, Hood, Palantir, PayPal. I'm also holding ServiceNow. But on the flip side, the thing about SoFi is that they're very much affected by one, geopolitical events, stuff going on, and also monetary policy. So this year, because the war in the Middle East, which I hope and pray is over very quickly and soon, it's definitely not good. I mean, I do get asked this a lot because I do have a military background. Not to mention, I am a Afghan vet. Just because you are just because you have a military background, that doesn't mean you promote war or you like war. By all means, war is not good. War is not fun. I am a patriot to my country, and I really feel that our country needs a solid, how many generations of no wars, let alone the world pretty much needs no wars. So hopefully this war in the Middle East gets wrapped up very soon. When that does happen, oil is going to surge to the downside, which is going to put the Federal Reserve into a position where they can maybe give us another rate cut. SoFi just had earnings that disappointed a lot of people. I was actually very much impressed with SoFi's earnings, and I've been buying SoFi shares on this account over the last 6 months, and I may even buy more SoFi shares on Tuesday. But I bought SoFi shares this past Monday because the stock was friggin' almost 14 bucks. It's unbelievable. But I have accumulated a lot of people that do watch this YouTube channel because they're SoFi bulls, let alone SoFi shareholders. So if you are a SoFi shareholder, you're a SoFi bro or sister, I'm definitely in SoFi for the next many years because this company can definitely grow. And what does SoFi do? They're a fintech of a bank, pretty much a disruptor of a bank in the banking sector. So they're a technology bank where you can do so much with their platform, and they are very much a disruptor company because they have built a moat around their business. They're not a traditional legacy bank. Not all of their revenue comes from their lending side, such as giving out like loans. They also have a tech side as well. That tech side, I do believe in the future is going to be definitely increasing its revenue. But right now, a lot of stuff is just really happening with monetary policy. Rate cuts are being affected by oil, the Middle East. So once a lot of that stuff goes away, SoFi, call me crazy, we're going to be snapping back to 25 bucks very quickly. And then we're probably going to be going to all-time highs at 32. And then once you get past all-time highs, I mean, it's discovery mode. It's very fun. Very, very fun to be in stocks when they've been in discovery mode. And this is definitely not my first rodeo being in a growth stock when it's in that discovery mode. Very much was in Palantir during their run. Also NVIDIA as well too. Obviously I didn't stay in NVIDIA and Palantir all the way, but I made a lot of money from NVIDIA and also Palantir. Okay, so the next one on the list here is AMD. I'm a tremendous semi-bull because that's where all the money is going right now. You got the world's largest companies such as Google. They're spending on CapEx spending, capital expenditure spending, 190 bill. Then you also have Amazon. Actually, Google might be 180. They're literally so close. Google and Amazon spending close to 200 bill. Now, why are they spending that much money for this year? Because they see that their revenue growth rate can be increasing by spending money to build data centers. Okay? Then you also have Meta that is spending 140 bill. Microsoft is another one too. I believe Microsoft is spending close to, oh boy, it's either 170, 180, 190. Like, they're all pretty much like the same. OpenAI as well too. You have companies, spending money. Well, where is all that money going? It's going to NVIDIA. It's going to AMD, which is just starting to turn around, becoming more attractive. So AMD has taken off running. Look at those gains. 120%. Ironically, if you go back to my videos from November of 6 months ago, my SoFi on this account was actually up over 120%. Pretty funny. But my total cost on SoFi was only 4,900 bucks. So in the last 6 months, I've increased my total cost, my position size in SoFi by almost double. And that's because the stock is just crashing. Now, like I said, if you were to go back on my channel, my videos here, well, look at this video from March 27th. 53 lucky people got a chance to see this video, right? A lot of SoFi bros and SoFi sisters. Maybe not SoFi sisters, probably a lot of SoFi bros. This account was 34,000. It was down by 11%. Do you see how quickly things move in this market? When you position yourself in growth companies, here's the risk. It's a roller coaster ride. But if you are with companies with phenomenal management teams like Lisa Su at AMD, a lot of people nickname AMD like last year as Advanced Money Destroyer. Really? People are buying AMD shares right now at $462 a share. Okay, my AMD position has taken over this profile. And I have a price target on a bearish side of AMD over the next 12 months of anywhere between $800 to $1,000. That's being bearish. My base case on AMD is anywhere between $1,200 to $1,500 per. Actually, no. Base case is $1,250. Bull case is $1,500. A lot of perma bulls on AMD. Very unrealistic. They're the ones you see on social media with a price target of like friggin' 2,000 plus. And how do you get to your price targets? Well, you do fundamental analysis and also you study the CEO, Lisa Su. I was listening to AMD's conference call during earnings about a little over a week ago, and the stock price actually was down 5% after earnings. Why was that? Because we knew what the numbers were going to be. Wall Street and the market, we knew what the numbers was going to be. And the stock actually ended up dipping 5%. It was guidance that caused this, utter guidance. The hype into earnings was all about the guidance. What was the guidance? Lisa Su guided the company saying, we're seeing better than expected on all of our chips. Okay, these semi companies, you gotta remember that they have different chips for different reasons. They have their gaming chips, they got their basic like computer chips, then you got like a video card chip. AMD is seeing just better than expected on all their chips. That is what's caused this stock to go parabolical. But in the next 12 to 24 months, don't be surprised if AMD is well over $1,000. Obviously, at that time, there's going to be some chips being taken off the table. And why is that? Because, hey, that's, my strategy. Doesn't mean AMD is not a bad company, but, hey, when a stock runs up tremendously and that's part of your plan, then you're going to start seeing me take out some chips here and there, especially when we get to those levels. Now, is a possibility that maybe AMD goes south? Anything's possible, but I'm willing to take that risk. The next one up here is Adobe. I'm very bullish on Adobe. The reason being is because, one, I use Adobe products every single day. Many people do too. Many people don't even know they're using Adobe products out there. And software companies, aka SaaS, Adobe, ServiceNow too. ServiceNow, I have a much smaller position. I really see a tremendous rebound with Adobe. Not necessarily in the sense of like massive growth rates, but in the sense as this fear goes away and people understand that, hey, software is not going to be taken out by AI. I could be dead wrong. And the funny thing about it is that, hey, if I am dead wrong and I got to go ahead and take a loss, well, I mean, you got like, I got a lot more green than I got losses. And the whole thing about being a disciplined investor, trader is knowing when to take a loss. Adobe, I personally don't really see it. Right now, I do see a rebound, especially once a lot of fears pretty much settle. And it's because I listened to their earnings, which a lot of people don't do. They had record-breaking sales last quarter and the quarter before with Black Friday and Cyber Monday back in November and December of last year. And I see a tremendous amount of upside to Adobe. Obviously not as much upside as like SoFi and AMD, but definitely very much a rebound in the software sector. Robinhood, I'm extremely bullish on. Robinhood is going to follow in suit, especially with Bitcoin. Robinhood is a risk-on company. They're also kind of like a gambling company in a way, kind of like DraftKings. When the market is risk-on, this company's going to soar. When the market is risk-off and Bitcoin is going down, right now, Bitcoin, and I am extremely bullish on crypto, by the way. I just don't own any crypto. I really don't dabble in crypto. Maybe in the future, but I'd personally rather just stick to growth companies. If you are in crypto, by all means, you can make life-changing money just like you can in growth companies. But the thing about crypto is that right now, Bitcoin is still in a hurdle. And when Bitcoin recovers and Bitcoin goes back to all-time highs, you're going to have companies like Robinhood just very much flourish. So I'm very bullish on Robinhood on the hood. It's kind of humorous because back in February of 24, I actually chose SoFi because I didn't want to choose Robinhood. I was actually debating if I wanted to buy Robinhood or SoFi. If I had bought Robinhood back in 2024 early, I would be up by a couple 100% right now, but I'm really glad that I chose SoFi. The reason I didn't want to choose Robinhood back then is because my main stock profile is Robinhood. But Robinhood, it's nothing more than a gambling company. Is that a bad thing? No. I mean, that's what the company does as a business model. but understand the business model for Robinhood revolves around them very much having a risk-on market. If the market's not risk-on, then hey, Robinhood is not going to be going to crazy levels. I do see Robinhood in a risk-on when the market turns very much with crypto rebounding. A lot of people are saying crypto is not going to be rebounding until later this year. Maybe it's going to be before, but it's kind of playing out that crypto is going to take a while to rebound. Robinhood makes a lot of money through cryptocurrency, let alone a lot of money by transactions. When people want to take more risk, people I mean theoretically, any type of stock brokerage is theoretically like it's kind of humorous. Am I theoretically gambling my money by being a long-term investor? You actually are. You're just gambling it in a much safer way. Okay, I'm not doing options. I'm not doing short-term like calls, puts, or anything like that. I'm taking a long position, which takes a lot of risk off the table. But theoretically, I mean, yeah, this really, when you buy stock, you are theoretically gambling your money if you really think about it. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. You got to be living to live with that risk if it comes. But there's also a thing called risk management. Taking a long position in Robinhood, I'm down 20%. If this company goes below $70, I'll probably pick up more shares. If Bitcoin falls off a cliff, Robinhood could be at $50. I'll be buying more shares. But hey, when that switch happens with monetary policy, Bitcoin going to new levels, the hood is going to be soaring well beyond 150 all-time highs, well beyond 200, 250, and the risk-on train is going to be rock and rolling once again. Palantir, phenomenal companies. Palantir is actually a buy now because of how much their EPS has their growth rates has very much caught up. Their earnings was 110 out of 100. Their earnings were phenomenal. Why isn't Palantir, soaring? Is because a couple reasons. One, the market right now is not very risk on. The market is going to all-time highs because of a couple companies, which is very funny. Okay, I'll get to that momentarily. But when people want to take a lot more risk, you're going to see Palantir very much recovering. I may even add a couple more shares to Palantir here. But Palantir ran up so quickly. Over the last couple years, they priced in a lot of future growth. Well, guess what? Because Palantir has been stuck pretty much between like now 130 to 210, I believe is all-time high, 220. Their earnings, their revenue, and their growth rates have now caught up. So, right now, Palantir, it's a lot more attractive. And Palantir has a lot more upside, very much, let alone back to their all-time highs. So Palantir is definitely one where, hey, this company can flick a switch like crazy. My story behind Palantir, real quick, I was actually building position sizes in Palantir in the teens, but I didn't take a long position. I was actually trading Palantir. All in all, I've made probably close to about $30,000 of profits in Palantir. I ended up having an average in Palantir a little over $15. I was buying Palantir in the $14, $15, $16. Boom! The big move happened. I ended up making 100%, and I sold out of my position. Why did I do that? That was my strategy, and that was my plan. Was it the best strategy? No. But I stuck to my strategy because I chose to trade Palantir. I got back in Palantir when it was in the $30 level range. Actually, when it just got back into, it was right around the time when they got into the S&P 500. I built a position in the low 30s. Then the stock went to the 60s and I sold. I made another 100% of profits. Hey, I made a double up. That's a pretty decent trade if you think about it in a short period of time, right? Made money. Liberation Day happened. I was buying Palantir last year during the tariff pretty much shabacle. I was buying Palantir below 90, 80, and high 70s on 2 accounts. Made a lot of money, and I sold out of those positions summer last year in the 150s and 160s. So all in all, I've made a lot of money in Palantir. But if I had taken a long position, it would have been life-changing money. It would have been over 6 figures of profits. But you stick to your strategy. Was my strategy the right strategy? It definitely was not. It was a trader's strategy. But I stuck to my guns. And that's something very important. Whatever strategy you may have, you got to stick to your strategy. And if stuff goes south, you got to start moving out. Meta. Several months ago, my Meta position on this profile was $6,000. Now, my Meta position on this profile is $2,300. On my private account, I completely got rid of my Meta shares. Why did I do that? Because Meta is spending tremendously like a drunken sailor. Their CEO is a baller. Mark Zuckerberg, he's young. He's a couple years older than me. His net worth is obviously... Yeah, let's not even go there. The guy is an innovator. But his vision is to spend money to increase their revenue. A lot of people don't see it. Some people do. For me, I honestly believe that Meta was going to be $800 to $1,000 per share by the end of 2026. They came out with CapEx spending earlier this year, and it shook out a lot of people. I was up over 20% on my Meta position. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and start scaling out a little bit because the CEO changed course. So if you are in a company where their management team changes course, then you got to go ahead and stick to your guns. I ended up moving that money out of Meta. I bought more. I actually bought AMD. I bought a lot more AMD shares. So grateful I did that. I bought SoFi. I bought Adobe, Hood, and also Oracle. Oracle, I ended up selling for a 40% profit a little over a week ago. That was also a new stock that I bought a couple, and then I ended up moving my Oracle money into SoFi and ServiceNow. But there's going to be times where you gotta descale out. Hypothetically, if SoFi's management team changes course, I'm going to have to scale out a little bit. And that is being a disciplined investor and trader. You got to understand that if the management team is doing something funky, you got to reevaluate your situation, especially where your money is. But the management team at AMD, it's been operating. Same thing with SoFi as well too. Adobe, we're getting a new management team, CEO primarily. Robinhood's management team is phenomenal. Vad is an innovator. Palantir, Alex Karp is a friggin', he's a dominator. Love the dude. Meta, Mark just needs to he needs to understand that a lot of people are not on board with this CapEx spending. PayPal, aka PayPal, their management team got fired. Oh, yeah, the CEO got the boot. I might be scaling out of PayPal. I'm not entirely sure just when, but first of all, PayPal is growing year over year by 4%. They're growing. They're not losing money. They're not going bankrupt. PayPal, I have a PayPal business account. I use PayPal all the time. Venmo, a lot of people don't even know PayPal owns Venmo. I use Venmo all the time too. So, here's another one too. PayPal. I was extremely bullish on PayPal. Their CEO, Alex Chris, he got the boot. And his vision did not come true. I'm also really glad that PayPal is a very small position on this account and also my private account as well too. So I got to really see where things may be going for them. But like I said, hey, if you got to go ahead and cut some losses, move some money to different places, you got to do what you got to do. And at the end of the day, I mean, this account right now is, well, I have more gains than I do on the L's, right? But the red you're seeing for so many of these companies, such as Adobe, Hood, Palantir, it's temporary. PayPal might be permanent, which is a gut check. Now, ServiceNow, they're another software company. They're more integrated into AI than actual Adobe. And even at these levels, I'm up by 15% on ServiceNow. Like, if I had to move some PayPal to somewhere, I would probably say maybe move it to ServiceNow, or I may actually open a new position. So stay tuned for this for that move. I might be doing that next week. I'm not entirely sure just yet if I am gonna go ahead and pull the trigger on that. Otherwise, I apologize for a very long video, a 40-minute video. Hopefully y'all got value out of this. I tend to keep my videos at 20 minutes on this channel, but there's a lot to really go over, especially real talk around stock here. So at the end of the day, if you do subscribe to this channel, you're going to be getting a lot of content primarily around tech related companies, monetary updates, water cheers, by the way, and basically pretty much market news, market watching. Hopefully everyone's gonna have a phenomenal holiday weekend, and we really got to see what happens. I'll be uploading a new video on this channel on Tuesday. Going to be making some beef tacos for Taco Tuesday. Can't wait, baby. So definitely stay tuned for that. And yeah, hey, let me know down below if you are new here. If you are a shareholder of any of the stock I have, definitely drop a comment down below too that you're a your fellow brother or sister. Love to always hear from people watching. And take it easy, everyone. Later.